This is homework set 1, order of operations, questions 1 through 7. Question 1 asks us to write an equivalent expression using symbols for this phrase right here, the sum of x and 8. Now, the sum, that indicates an addition, so I'm going to write an addition sign, and then what we're adding, two things we're going to add. We're adding x and 8, so I'll write an x and an 8, and this indicates the sum of x and 8. Question 2, very much like question 1, asks us to write, using symbols, a phrase for the sum addition of x and 6. So the sum, that's an addition, so we'll write our plus sign, and I want to sum x and 6. Question 3 wants us to use symbols to write this phrase, the difference, that's a subtraction, the difference of a and 5. So just right in that order, I'm going to write the difference of a and 5. So this expression here, a minus 5, that's an equivalent expression for the difference of a and 5. Question 4 is similar to questions 1, 2, and 3, but this time we're asked to write an expression for the product. Now, product is multiplication, so I want to multiply 6 and x. I want to indicate that multiplication. So a couple ways I could write this. I could write it like this, 6 times x, using that multiplication sign, or I could write it like this, just 6x. If you just write the symbols right next to each other, that indicates the multiplication. Question 5 asks us to write an expression for the product, multiplication, of 8 and the difference of x minus 5. So I've got a multiplication and a subtraction. So what have we got here? We want the product of 8 and the difference of x and 5. Now the difference of x and 5 is x minus 5. So here's what I'm going to write. I want the product of 8, there's 8, the product, and I want to multiply that by x minus 5. Now I want that whole x minus 5, 8 times all of that. So I'll put parentheses, x minus 5. So can you see this? I've got the product of 8 and x minus 5. Now I want to be careful. This is I'm not going to write it like this. I'm not going to be writing 8 times and then the x minus 5, because in this case I just capture the product of 8 and x, and then the minus 5, and then the 5 is subtracted at the end. So not this one. This is not what we want. Question 6 asks us to write an expression that indicates the product of 5 and the sum of x and 9. So this one is similar to question 5, but instead of a difference, we have the sum. So I want the product, now that's a multiplication, and the sum, I have an addition. So I want to add that entire x plus 9. So I want the x plus 9 included in that product. So I'm going to write 5 times for the product of that entire x plus 9. Question 7. We want to write an expression that indicates the quotient. Now quotient, that's a division, right? Quotient, we're talking about a division. And a difference. So I want the quotient of x and the difference of x and 8. Now the difference of x and 8 is x minus 8, and I want to take the quotient, a division of x, and all of that x minus 8. So what I want to do is I want to take that x and divide it by, right, the quotient of x minus 8. So right now what I've got is the quotient of x and x minus 8.